Hi, I'm Jordan Long, and today I'm going to talk about, being put down, I'm going to talk about, being put down for only speaking English. Now, there are many folks in this world where they only know one speech, and that was the speech that they grew up on, the speech they learned at birth, what that speech is. Now there's going to be folks who learn more than one speech, some that take years of learning, and then some who learn fast. Some can take a book, or they can take a speaking book, or they can have a Webstead or whatever, and boom, in maybe a week, maybe a month, they got the whole speech skilled. Others take a long time to learn another speech, and some, it never happens. I was one of those where it never worked. That none of it never worked. None of the speaking books never worked. None of the Websteads never worked. Hey, the Learn Hall didn't work either, and I was there from age 5 to at least age 21 or so. So anyway, there's always going to be those who get mad at you if you only know one speech. Almost like they're, some folks that get mad that you only know one speech are like, oh fuck, now I gotta speak another speech. Well, it's not, they think it's you who has the hang up, not shifting to them when they gotta shift to you. If you don't know other speech, it is what it is. It's not being mean, it's not being a jerk. You're not shaming or unlooking or being unkind to someone else for only knowing one speech. It never worked. It never worked. So when someone speaks another speech, they go, oh, I only speak English. That's right. You only speak that pod disc speech. You don't speak any other speech. You are shameful. You're unkind to me because I took all the work to learn your speech and you couldn't take the time to learn my speech. I'm sad. Yeah, apparently that is what there are some folks in this world that put down other folks for only knowing one speech. And the ones who do this are ones that speak your own speech. Yeah. I'm not making up. There are some folks that learn another speech or speeches, more than one, and that's good for them. And then there's ones that go around saying, oh, well, you're too lazy to learn another speech. That's why you only speak one speech because you're lazy. Well, the funny thing behind that is that I don't think laziness has anything to do with it. They're like, so if you only learn another speech because you're frightened of what someone who speaks another speech thinks of you, well, you have no leader, no run over what someone thinks of you. Alright? I speak English. That's the only speech I know. I don't know any other speeches except for borrowed words, but I pick not to work with the borrowed words if I can help it. Alright? But I only speak English. And I know there's going to be folks out there saying, well, didn't English take borrowed words from other speeches? Yes. But at the end of the day, you still speak English even with the borrowed words. And I speak English without the borrowed words if I can help it. So, does that make me lazy for not learning all the other speeches that God has made in the world, the live ones and the dead ones? Then I guess it makes me lazy. But then again, that's someone's belief with no truth behind it. There's always folks that always do that. And the funny thing is, the ones that claim folks are lazy the ones that say folks are lazy are the ones that speak your speech. It's like you got folks that go, oh, well, I'm lazy because I only speak English. Well, guess what? I'm not lazy anymore because I learned to speak all the speeches that God made, the live ones and the dead ones. So I'm not lazy anymore. We English speakers are lazy. And I'm not one of those lazy ones. You are. Oh, so I'm lazy because I only speak one speech. That's your belief. You have no truth to it. You fucker. Yeah. There, Jordan said it's true. You know, these folks will irk you, they'll make you mad. There are some folks on YouTube who are like that too. One's called the Language Focus or whatever, Lang Focus, whatever he calls himself, Paul, who's from Canada. And apparently he puts down other folks for only speaking one speech. He believes that, in his belief, if you only speak English and you didn't learn any other speech, you're lazy. Well, Paul, I got news for you. That's your belief. You have no truth to it. Okay? You have no truth to make it true. So maybe you took years and years of your life to learn all those speeches. Good for you, Paul. Good for you. But at the end of the day, you're not more good than me. Maybe you can get jobs with being a interpreter, a translator, whatever you want to call it, in between someone speaking one speech and someone speaking another speech. Sad I used those borrowed words. Good. You might get jobs like that. But it don't make you any more good than me. And I'm not lazy. You coming on and claiming that everyone who only speaks one speech is lazy, you have no truth to it, and all you are is a jerk. And I forgive you for behaving like that and believing that, but at the end of the day, you're still a jerk. Yeah, that's what he was. He came off as a jerk. You know that it is what it is. It's like if you speak English and only English, there are folks out there that seek to make you ashamed of it. You only speak that Anglo-Saxon. You only speak that Poddisk speech. You only speak English or English. Oh, you should be ashamed of that. Why? Because half of the world speaks my speech, I should be ashamed of it? I should be ashamed of a small Poddisk speech that somehow became the speech of many? Why should I be ashamed of that? Why should I be ashamed to speak what I speak? I'm sure you're not ashamed of speaking whatever you speak, so why should I be ashamed of only speaking English? When I could say that others should be ashamed of speaking their speech, that's sad. Yeah, that's my belief. Yeah, well, that's your belief, but it's shameful that you go around and seek to make others ashamed of only speaking English. And a lot of folks don't think this way. Yeah, there are some jerks in this world who believe that if you only speak one speech, you're dumb, you're lazy, you're this and that. But for a lot of folks out there, it is what it is. It doesn't work for me. They're like, oh, did you seek? Yeah, these things, they say, oh, these speaking tapes, oh, these books, these websteads, these Learn Hall things, they say, we'll teach you how to learn another speech, and it does not work. Okay? See, I'm lucky I learned the speech I speak. And I'm lucky that my mind could pick that up. Now and I'm not going to be so lucky to learn another speech. And hey, and then even if I do learn another speech that's not going to happen, how am I going to meet someone in my land that speaks that land speech of that speech? Not daily, I can tell you that. So it's not going to work. I can't do it. I can only speak English. I can't learn any other speeches. And if that makes me lazy and dumb, then oh well, that's one's belief. But keep in mind, it's only a belief. No truth to it. Yes, my brain learned how to speak English, but I'm lucky. And maybe there's only some folks in this world where they can only learn one speech, and that's a speech they grew up on, whatever that speech is. I'm Jordan Long, and I'll see you later.